I'm gonna tell you something wrong on purpose, and you're going to believe it because it's gonna sound right. Ready? If you don't feel like doing anything, you must need rest. Completely wrong. And that's why we're here. I'm gonna ask you a question, and this question is going to bother you, but not now. In about 20 minutes, right when you start to feel comfortable. So keep going. You can feel safe for now. Come with me. There are some days you don't feel like doing anything. This is familiar. I know it. You know it. But here's what you might not know. That feeling is protecting you. Wait, no. The opposite. That feeling is destroying you, and you call it rest. Here's what I'm about to say. It's going to sound harsh, but listen. The days you don't want to do anything, they're your most dangerous days. When I say dangerous, I don't mean painful. When I say dangerous, I mean this. On those days, something darkens inside you. Slowly, silently, without you noticing, and you mistake that darkness for guilt. But guilt is just the surface. There's something else underneath. What do you think it is? What do I think? I'm not going to tell you yet, but I will. How do you feel right now? Does it feel a little familiar? Do you feel a little safe? Good. That's exactly what I want. Because now I'm going to ask you the real question. This guilt you're feeling, is it protecting you or is it destroying you? Keep your answer in mind. Most people don't think about this because asking is hard. And when you ask, the answer can be uncomfortable. But you ask already. When you open this video, you ask. Now notice something. You woke up this morning. Nothing has happened yet. No list. No one called you. You didn't lose anything. You haven't made a mistake yet. But the guilt was already there, waiting, coming with your first breath of the morning. This isn't normal, but it feels normal because you're so used to it. It tells you exactly what you're doing. Now I'm speaking directly to you, only to you, not for this crowd, not for motivation, not to teach a technique, just to see together what that thing is. And seeing is sometimes enough on its own. This happens in your relationships. Before you say something, you live all the versions in your head. It happens at work. Before a meeting, you run through all the scenarios. It happens with your family. You hear a sentence, and that sentence takes you back 5 years. It happens in your decisions. You postpone deciding, but your mind doesn't stop deciding. It happens with your habits. You want to change, but your mind shows you your past. It happens in social settings. You come home, but your mind is still outside. Imagine this night. You're trying to sleep. The room is dark. Your phone is turned over, and you are still processing a sentence someone said to you 3 hours ago. It was a simple sentence, maybe unintentional, but you're still interpreting it, still responding inside your head, not to anyone, to yourself. The most tiring battles happen where no one sees. So why is that sentence still there? Answer to yourself right now, because the answer to this question makes everything that follows meaningful. I just said control is only half of this equation. Here's the other half. The more you try to control your thought, you give it energy. What you suppress comes back, but bigger and stronger and more convincing. Stop. Breathe. What are you thinking right now? Ask that question for yourself. Really, because what I'm about to tell you is all about that very thought. 3 reasons, 3 truths, and each one will recognize you a little more. Are you ready? First, trying to manage the mind makes the mind more active. You say, don't think, and that thing immediately comes, because the command don't think requires you to think of that thing first. Imagine this. You're giving a presentation, and there's a voice in your head. Don't get excited. Don't let my voice tremble. Act normal. And right at that moment, your voice trembles. Your hands sweat because you entered a battle with your mind, and the mind loves battle. And right there, you're doing the same thing. The more you try to stop your thought, you open the door for it. But what if you already know this and you still do it? This opens up another question. Coming soon. Second, your mind is trying to protect you, but from the wrong thing. The brain does not distinguish between real and imaginary. To it, thinking about a scenario is the same as living that scenario. You're going to talk to someone you love. You're going to say something important, but before you even speak, you have 10 versions in your head. What if he misunderstands? What if he gets angry? What if he never wants to talk again? And you think that conversation is real. Your body is tense. Breath is shallow, but nothing happened yet. And right there, you are living in the future, tired from something that hasn't happened yet. Sometimes the heaviest burden is the possibility of things that haven't happened yet. Most people don't realize this because this cycle is so familiar, feels like the ground. You can't even see that it's there. You just feel tired for no reason. I just said, when you hear the second reason, you'll go, ah, did you? I said the third is a bit more unsettling. Third, you can't manage your thought because you don't want to let it go. Stop. Hear it again. You don't want to let go. Night, that thought looping in your head, that person, that moment, that word, and you replay it over and over. Why? Because that thought gives you something. Maybe a feeling of being right. Maybe a feeling of connection with that person. Maybe an illusion of control. And letting go means letting go of that thing too. And right there, you don't let go because letting go feels like a loss. Sometimes not being able to give up a thought isn't because because the thought holds you. It's because you hold on to it. So, what does that thought give you? Don't answer, just feel. Because if you let this question live inside you, everything that follows will feel different. This isn't just for nighttime thoughts. Everywhere, every day. In relationships, you love someone, but your mind constantly writes the worst scenario. What if they leave? What if they get tired? What if I'm not enough? And holding on to those thoughts weighs down that relationship. But letting go would be lighter, yet scarier. At work, you want to achieve something, but your mind writes failure scenarios. What if it doesn't work out? What if someone else is better? What if I'm not enough? And you get tired before you even start. Family, a sentence carried for years, said by someone, maybe not intentional, but you're still processing it inside your head, by yourself. Social settings, you came home, but your mind is still outside. Why did I say that sentence? Why did they look at me like that? And time moves forward, but the mind goes back. Decisions, you couldn't decide, but your mind decided repeatedly with every version, but you didn't go anywhere. You lived them all mentally. Physically, you're still standing in place. Habits, you want to change, but your mind shows you your past. You've tried before. It didn't work. Why would this time be different? And that voice is your voice. Stop. What are you feeling right now? What's inside you as you hear this? A recognition? A discomfort? Both? At the beginning, I said, what you suppress comes back. Bigger. Does it feel different now? Because now you see why it grows. And this is both bad news and very important news. If you are holding on, you can also let go. But letting go isn't a technique. It's an understanding. And that understanding, but even that exhaustion produces guilt. Why am I so tired? Doesn't everyone carry this? In your work, you finish something, but you don't celebrate. You immediately move to the next because stopping feels like falling behind. Not behind anyone else, behind yourself. And this race is a race that will never end because there's no finish line. The more you set, the longer it gets. You don't celebrate when you finish because you're already looking at the next thing. And the next thing won't be finished either. In your family, a meal, a gathering, everyone's doing something. You're doing something too. But why? Because you love it or to not be seen? Have you ever asked yourself this question? In your social life, you're in a group of friends. You stay quiet and that silence bothers you. I should say something, but you don't. And even wordlessness produces guilt. Stillness isn't just physical. Wordlessness is stillness too. And your brain punishes that too. In your decisions, you need to make a choice. You procrastinate, but even procrastinating produces guilt. Why can't I decide? And that question freezes you even more. The more you freeze, the more guilt. The more guilt, the more you freeze. Loop, always a loop. In your habits, your routine, you missed one day, workout, reading, anything, one day. And that one day grew because guilt put that one day in a file. And as the file grew, starting felt harder. To start, you first need to forgive, but you never learned to forgive. So who couldn't you forgive? Myself? The ones who put you through this? Yourself. Guilt doesn't motivate you. Guilt sentences you, and you are your own judge. Seeing this is already the beginning of change. Even understanding is something. But let me say this. Understanding isn't enough because this voice, even after you see it, it continues. Why? I'll tell you in a moment. Now we come to the real question. This guilt, why won't it leave you? If it doesn't work, if it freezes you, if it exhausts you, why is it still there? Because the brain won't let it go. But why? Because it serves a purpose. Not for you, but for something. Guilt protects you. Wait, you think you heard that wrong? Yes, protects you. But why and from what? When you feel guilt, you feel like you have to take action. At least you feel that way. And taking action protects you from stillness. And stillness protects you from those thoughts. It's a loop. But now it looks different, doesn't it? Guilt isn't a punishment. It's an escape mechanism. To escape from within. You run outside. Remember, I said things rise to the surface in stillness. Now do you understand why you're running? Because you don't want to see what rises to the surface. And guilt keeps you busy from seeing. Now stop. Really stop. Think about all of this. Relationships, work, family, decisions, habits. The same thing is in all of them, in different forms, but the same root. If I stop, I'll have to face something. And that something, what? Different for each person. But usually, a question, is this life mine? Or who did I want to become? Or why am I so tired? Being busy is sometimes the most accepted way to escape your own life. And now we come to what I promised you. At the beginning of the video, I said something, that I was going to tell you something wrong. Remember? If you don't feel like doing anything, you must need rest. Why is this wrong? Because not wanting and needing are not the same thing. You don't feel like doing anything, but you don't actually want to rest. You don't want to think. You don't want to feel. You don't want to face things. And you call it exhaustion. But exhaustion feels different. Exhaustion goes away when you lie down. Your feeling doesn't go away because your feeling is the weight of something unfinished somewhere. You're not finished, but you're avoiding finishing something. That voice, the one that comes when you stop.